George Washington said, "Let your heart feel for the affliction and distress of everyone." The Taoist philosopher Lao Tzu once wrote, "He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still." Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You must do the thing which you think you cannot do."
In the city, crime is taken as emblematic of class and race. In the suburbs, though, it's intimate and psychological, resistant to generalization, a mystery of the individual soul. Barbara Ehrenreich.
Dostoevsky once said, "Nothing is easier than denouncing the evildoer. Nothing more difficult than understanding him." G.K. Chesterton wrote, "Fairy tales do not tell children that dragons exist. Children already know that dragons exist. Fairy tales tell children that dragons can be killed." Erasmus wrote, "What else is the whole life of mortals but a sort of comedy, in which the various actors, disguised by various costumes and masks, walk on and plays each one his part until the manager waves them off the stage."
An earthly kingdom cannot exist without inequality of persons. Some must be free, some serfs, some rulers, some subjects. Martin Luther.
Fantasy, abandoned by reason, produces impossible monsters. Francis Goya. 16th century English novelist Thomas Deloney wrote, "God sends meat and the devil sends cooks."
William Shakespeare wrote, "Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none."
Superman is, after all, an alien life form. He is simply the acceptable face of invading realities. Author Clive Barker.
Hey, do you know who Frank Miller is?
Frank Miller. Sounds familiar. Unsub?
No. Graphic novelist. 300. Sin City.
Oh, right. Cool movies.
Anyway, he said something once and it makes me think of you.
The noir hero is a knight in blood-caked armor. He's dirty, and he does his best to deny the fact that he's a hero the whole time.
The American poet Anne Sexton once wrote, "It doesn't matter who my father was. It matters who I remember he was."
Wordsworth wrote, "A simple child that lightly draws its breath and feels its life in every limb. What should it know of death?"
No man or woman who tries to pursue an ideal in his or her own way is without enemies. Daisy Bates. It is a wise father who knows his own child. William Shakespeare.
I know indeed what evil I intend to do, but stronger than all my afterthoughts is my fury. Fury that brings upon mortals the greatest evils. Euripides. For we pay a price for everything we get or take in this world. And although ambitions are well worth having, they are not to be cheaply won. Lucille Maud Montgomery. Within the core of each of us is the child we once were. This child constitutes the foundation of what we have become, who we are, and what we will be. Neuroscientist Dr. R. Joseph.
There is no formula for success, except perhaps an unconditional acceptance of life and what it brings. Arthur Rubinstein.
There is no refuge from confession but suicide. And suicide is confession. Daniel Webster.
The most authentic thing about us is our capacity to create, to overcome, to endure, to transform, to love, and to be greater than our suffering. Ben Okri.
A sad soul can kill you quicker, far quicker, than a germ. John Steinbeck. We cross our bridges when we come to them and burn them behind us, with nothing to show for our progress except a memory of the smell of smoke and a presumption that once our eyes watered. Tom Stoppard.
There are no secrets better kept than the secrets that everybody guesses. George Bernard Shaw. If we knew each other's secrets, what comforts we should find. John Churton Collins.
Author Christian Nestel Beauvais once wrote, "No man is happy without a delusion of some kind. Delusions are as necessary to our happiness as realities."
Susan B. Anthony said, "A woman must not depend on the protection of man, but must be taught to protect herself."
All changes, even the most longed for, have their melancholy. For what we leave behind us is a part of ourselves. We must die to one life before we can enter another. Anatole France.
Though nothing can bring back the hour of splendor in the grass, of glory in the flower, we will grieve not, rather find strength in what remains behind.
Voltaire said, "The man visited by ecstasies and visions, who takes dreams for realities, is an enthusiast. The man who supports his madness with murder is a fanatic."